All right, welcome everybody. My name is Bart Cotter. I'll be filling in for Nicole Dennis tonight on the Expert at the House. She's had some internet issues, so I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight and taking your valuable time to learn about something that we're incredibly excited about. It's being called the most significant health breakthrough of our lifetime. So, as I mentioned, this is the most significant health as well as anti-aging and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. It's just a remarkable technology. I feel very blessed and honored to be associated with this product, this company, and this technology. And what we're going to share with you is, because this technology is such an incredible breakthrough, it really does present a remarkable timing in our industry for taking this to the world. So if you've got an entrepreneurial mindset, definitely a chance to listen up. And as a matter of fact, let me just kind of spell it out. There's 6 reasons why you could be joining us here today. You might be looking for an answer to some personal challenges or some personal issues, or just taking your own health to another level. On the other hand, you might know someone who you care about, someone who you love that maybe you're looking for something that could genuinely help them deal with something that could, for that matter, be quite serious. And if, in fact, that's the reason you're here, I'm going to tell you that you're definitely in the right place. We've got a technology that is truly impacting lives in a very profound way. Also, we're going to show you some before and after photos. I like to say, if you're here because you'd like to learn how to look 23% younger in 28 days, you're in the right place. Some of the studies that we're going to refer to actually show remarkable results before and after effects. And you simply ask yourself, hey, if that's what it does to the outside, what's it doing to the inside? So we're going to look at the anti-aging benefits of the product. The next thing is athletic performance. Even if you're not an athlete, but you've got an active lifestyle, we all want to get the most out of our day. But on the other hand, if you are an athlete, what would an athlete do to have a competitive edge? My goodness, just about anything. We can show athletes how to have an incredible competitive edge, 100% legally. We've got Olympic athletes that are having remarkable results. They're tested triathletes that are doing incredible things with the product, boxers, and the list goes on and on. And I got this circled because this was one of the main reasons that my wife and I were interested, was a proactive approach to health. Remember, a doctor said years ago, he said, may you never know what you're preventing. Of course, that's with the idea of when you're really taking a preventative look at your health. The cost of dealing with problems and challenges before you get them is far less than the cost of dealing with them after. And it's not just the monetary cost, it's the quality of life cost as well. And the next thing, which I already alluded to, because this technology is so profound, and because of where we're at in the marketplace, we've got a unique opportunity to take this to the world. So if you've got room in your bank account for more, we can show you how to pay for your product, or have the business side of things pay for your product so you get it for free, or you can create a substantial part-time or a significant full-time income, which actually can generate a residual income that we'll be talking about too. So I guess the question is, what is your reason? All these reasons are important and they're all good. But what's your first reason? What's your second reason? And just kind of get clear on what you're looking for. Regardless of why you're here, let's just kind of have fun as we go through this presentation. And I'm sure that we'll answer all your questions. I remember it was September of 2014. I was invited to fly to Salt Lake City and learn about this technology. In fact, interestingly, I knew some of the people who had jumped into this company early on, and I just didn't, quite frankly, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I thought it was some kind of fancy water. And finally, some friends of mine told me, Ed Waynes, actually, he's this gentleman standing next to me here. He said, Bart, you need to fly to Salt Lake City and let's take a good look at this. And said, I'd like you to consider, joining me. And I'm so glad he did. This product is so profound. In fact, at that meeting, I'll talk a little bit more about these gentlemen, but I had the opportunity to meet the founder, Bertus Norton. He's got a remarkable story, and Dr. Gary Samuelson, he's the atomic medical physicist. And then later I invited a couple good mates of mine to come across, Dan and Malsord, Dan Doyle Malsord, who ended up joining us on this journey and who have helped a lot of people. So a little bit of a blast from the past here looking at that. Now, what I want to do is I want to just throw in this disclaimer to begin with, that ASEA's products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. What they're designed to do is to empower the body to do what it's meant to do, which is to help heal itself naturally. And that's exactly what they do, and they do it very well. Just going to pass through that testimony. That was from a previous story, but quite a remarkable story, actually. Let's just take a look at the challenges that we have. You know what? In fact, let me just go back and I'll just share part of that story. Christy Carmen, this is actually her daughter. Her daughter was had some health issues at 18 months old and ended up getting cerebral palsy from some injections that she had. Consequently, she was told that she would never walk. She was told that her daughter would be in a wheelchair the rest of her life. This little girl is now walking with a walker. She's, in fact, after being on a SIA for just a very short period of time, she's told her mom, she said, "Mom, my legs are listening to me again." So she's very excited about what this is. So it's actually just I mentioned the condition, but basically her arms and legs were stiff and rigid, and they just weren't communicating. There wasn't a communication to the brain and the legs and so forth. And consequently, it's been completely life-changing results with this little girl, and also for Christy as well. So a pretty profound story. Now, let's just take a look at the reality check. I want to look at some of the health statistic, and let's look at the problem, and then we'll look at the solution. So if we look at the leading causes of death, these are statistics, and from 2017, the number one cause of death is heart disease. So the second one is Alzheimer, dementia. And in fact, I've heard that a lot of people, the experts are wondering what they're going to do with the aging population that are getting dementia and so forth. It's a real serious problem. The next one is cardiovascular disease or stroke. And so pretty serious challenges as these things increase. So if we just have a little bit of a paradigm shift on our health, let's just take a look at our health in terms of a pyramid. It all starts with cellular communication. Now, before I was introduced to this company, I really had never heard the word redox signaling molecules. I had never heard about cellular communication. I always wondered how our bodies heal. If you get burnt or cut or bruised, how does your body know how to heal that? Well, it's really quite interesting, but I didn't understand that. I didn't know it. Basically what happens is we live and we die at the cellular level. We're composed of about 75 trillion cells. Those cells create tissues that create organs that create systems which create us. And bottom line, if our cells are not healthy, then we're not healthy. So all disease starts at the cellular level. So when our cells aren't healthy, we're not healthy. So if we look at a cell, and let's just take this again down to a cellular place, because this is a cellular health technology that we're talking about. So an unhealthy cell, basically the membrane is rigid. What happens is nutrients can't get in, waste product can't get out, and it becomes hard, rigid, and unhealthy. Now, a healthy cell is quite the opposite. It's more round, it's fluid, the nutrients can get in, waste products can get out. And so cells are damaged by antioxidant or oxidative stress, which is toxins and inflammation. So viruses, infections, bacteria, and free radicals. So the challenge, what's damaging our cells? Well, certainly this is an interesting example. So if we look at an apple as it deteriorates, and we're making a little comparison of this being like a cell. So a normal cell, for example, a cell that's attacked by free radicals, and then a cell with oxidative stress. You can see how that gets damaged. So as we look at the previous slide, there's quite a good comparison. So oxidative stress at the cellular level represents the body's inability to readily detoxify or repair cellular damage from toxins and inflammation. So where are the toxins coming from? Well, there's a study that was done in the US, and what they discovered that on average there were 287 chemicals that were found in the umbilical cord of brand new babies. Pretty remarkable. In fact, the average consumer is exposed to 127 chemicals a day simply from their body care products. So, and you look at the skincare products, my goodness, there's carcinogenic ingredients in a lot of the products that are out there. In fact, over 10,000 chemicals are used in food processing industry, and most of them have never been tested. So, it's in the air that we breathe, soils that are depleted, and the list goes on and on. So we're living in an environment. What all this does is it turns off our genes. I had no idea, but our genes are subject to being turned, 95% of our genes are subject to being turned off and turned on. We want to have our genes turned on so our body's actually communicating the way that it's supposed to. In fact, just looking at some statistics, 63.4% of Australians are considered obese. And too many people are digging their graves. I love this comment. Too many people are digging their graves with a fork by making choices based on instant gratification and food addictions. You know, so I can relate to that. You know, it's just pretty common. Food is a great way that we it's just so wrapped up into the way that we socialize and what we do, but it's important we strive to make better food choices, and it's just part of our society. And so we're going to talk about gut health a little bit today too. Our gut is like our second brain, and it's pretty important. So let's take a look at the challenge. So redox signaling molecules, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. That's the technology, that's the product that is in every bottle of ASEA that you see here. So what this is it's a native ingredient. It's what our cells produce for cellular communication. So as we age, we produce less and less of these vital redox signaling molecules. These molecules are responsible to detect, protect, and repair and replace damaged cells. So every decade, starting around puberty, our body loses about 10% of its ability to produce these molecules. I'm 56, so I'm producing less than half of what I used to produce as a teenager. Somebody who's 70 or 80, you know, maybe they're only producing 10, 20%. So they just simply don't heal as quickly as they used to. Hence the aging process. Our skin doesn't replace itself as quickly, and therefore we have the aging process. So when we break this down again, let's look at it. These are the redox signaling molecules. If your body stopped producing these molecules, right now you'd be dead in less than a second. That's how vital they are. So let's just break it down. If we look at a cell, basically the cell, in every cell there's the mitochondria. The mitochondria in the cell is like the nuclear power plant. It creates energy. And as the cell produces energy, it kicks off these little molecules called redox signaling molecules. What they do is they detect, protect, repair, and replace damaged cells. This is all part of the oxidative stress process. They also turn on activators or free radicals. So in other words, you've heard about antioxidants. Antioxidants are worthless without redox signaling molecules. They actually turn those on. They also communicate, they're immune system communicators. So that attacks viruses and bacteria, and it turns on the genes, which is what I had mentioned was a serious problem before with our environmental issues. So this actually turns the body on, helps the cells communicate the way they're supposed to. So again, we just have our tissues and organs which create us, but everything stems from these redox signaling molecules. These are so vital to our health. That's why this breakthrough is so massive. And ASEA is the global leader in cellular health industry. And in fact, this technology is a category creator. So how does ASEA do this? Well, these molecules are created in the cells of our body, every single cell, in a little, you might think of the cell as like a little bag of salt water. Well, because we're mostly made up of salt water. Well, ASEA uses exactly the same ingredients to create these molecules. It's pristine salt water, and the same as what's found in our cells. And then it goes through a 3-day process, where the salt water is broken down into free-floating atoms of sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen. And then kind of something quite miraculous happens through this patented process. The atoms are restructured into stabilized redox signaling molecules. So a bottle of ASEA like this would have literally trillions and trillions of these same molecules that are found right within our cells. Dr. Samuelson, he's the genius who figured out how to stabilize these molecules, something that science had declared was impossible to do. Keep in mind that in the body, when the body produces these, they last about 1/1,000,000th of a second, literally a millionth of a second. And if they don't do that, detecting, protecting, repairing, replacing, what happens is they just turn back into the substance they were created in, salt water. So the simple fact of being able to stabilize these in a liquid form in a bottle like this was really incredible, very significant. Now, ASEA's supplement, this was the first flagship product that the company came out with. and had incredible results. But what was happening, something kind of interesting. Oh, actually, let me just back up. So as I mentioned, this is the first flagship product. One of the questions that I would have was, how do we know? Because if you look at the ingredients, it's made from salt and water. It doesn't say redox signaling molecules because it's not made from redox signaling molecules. They don't put those in it. It's created. It's like putting all the ingredients together to bake a cake. You don't put cake on the ingredients. You put the different ingredients that are in it. So this laboratory called Bioagiletics, they actually work with 21 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies globally. They literally certify, verify, they validate that every batch of ASEA is in fact redox certified. So pretty amazing stuff. But here's what actually happened. So after they developed this product, they actually realized that they had an application for as a skincare product too, because people were spraying it on their skin. Gosh, they were spraying it in their eyes and spraying it and just using it all over, so that they knew they had an application for the body. Of course, the skin is the largest organ of the body. So hence, Renew 28 is created. This is exactly the same molecules put in a concentrated version in a gel for the skin. And this has actually been now created into a full skincare line, which you can see. Where is it? It's anyway. It's right here. Got a head up behind me, but it's this skincare line. You can see pretty remarkable stuff. Actually, this skincare line has a serum, which is a super concentrated version. There's also a moisturizer and a cleanser. Absolutely amazing stuff. And by the way, the skincare industry happens to be 20 times larger than the vitamin industry. This is a massive market, guys. So if didn't ever think I'd be real excited to be involved with skincare products, but I actually am, for a couple of reasons, because of the size of the market and taking this out, but more importantly, what it is actually doing for people. And I'm going to show you more about that. Best of all, it's completely safe, non-toxic, and native to the body. So there's no harmful substances whatsoever in any of these products. Now, ASEA has funded millions of dollars of research. These are some of the laboratories. I've already mentioned Bioagiletics, but some other cool ones we'll talk a little bit more about. Stevens and Associates did some incredible research with the skin, with the Renew 28 product. This one right here. And then Dermatest has also done some incredible results, studies that have led to some incredible results too. North Carolina Research Campus has done some sports performance studies. Turret Laboratory did a study where they actually showed that ASEA literally turns on the genes, the genetic expression, in 5 significant areas by 20 to 31% in just a short period of time. And so you can look up these studies at ASEAScience.com. There are thousands of studies. This is one of the fastest growing areas of science in the medical field. But interestingly enough, if you go and talk to your doctors, unless they've gone to medical school very recently, they've probably never even heard of it. That's because the news, it just takes a while to get news out to the world. And there's actually over 1,200 books on the subject. The gentleman that wrote this book, his name is Dr. Nareen Naidu. He's was actually nominated for a Nobel Prize. He worked with the original company that was developing this technology. So pretty cool stuff. Now, I just want to give you a heads up that Google it's not a research engine, it's a search engine. So don't go there to do your research. What you want to do is to go to pubmed.gov, or Google Scholar is another research site. You can type in redox signaling and then type in any challenge, any condition, and you'll find that where they're doing studies about how these molecules that are created natively in our cells communicate. Now, as the one thing I like is seeing is really believing. So I've got some before and after photos just to show you. So by the way, all these photos is with Renew 28 in this photo, and within 28 days or less. Actually, the first one there was in 3 weeks, 21 days. This is Ray Doon. She actually didn't think she was getting very good results. This is her before photo, and this is her after photo. When she looked at the photos side by side, she was astonished to see what a difference it is. So it's always good to take some before and after photos. Some people get results very quickly. Some people, it takes them a little longer, but it's literally helping the cells regenerate quicker. So, whether it's the redness and the irritation that can be, that a lot of teenagers and even adults can deal with, interestingly, it's not just the acne, the redness, and the irritation, but it's also even the scarring over time. Just fantastic results. Cindy Lou has had some great results with her skin, and then just the effects of aging, the wrinkles, like this. I talked about how we produce less molecules as we age. This is a great example of this. So this lady is 93 years old, and you can see that she's had a surgery on her wrist. What's remarkable is in 3 weeks, only 3 weeks, using Renew 28 and drinking ASEA, look at the difference. You can barely see where that incision even was. And believe me, doctors, they're glad at that age if the incision even heals. So that's pretty remarkable. They've even discovered that with Renew 28, that this helps with skin elasticity. And so they did a study with cellulite, and they found that there was a 20% increase in skin elasticity and a 15% reduction in the appearance of cellulite. So this is something that plagues, I believe it's about 80% of women, about 10% of men. It's a pretty big thing. So here's some more examples. Sunburn turning into a tan instead of peeling. This one's really quite amazing. Is the aging effects on the arm. This is again in 28 days. Pretty remarkable results. So you can see those pictures. I love this story. Rosie was 84 years old. Her son is a chiropractor. He got her on the products, and she came into his office after 7 weeks. And she said, I want to cancel my order. I want to get off these products. And he said, well, Mom, why is that? And she said, well, they obviously aren't doing anything for me. Now Rosie's, as I understand, is a little bit feisty. So he said, well, Mom, we did take a before photo. Let's just take an after photo and see if we notice any difference. And this is pretty astonishing because to me, she looks like she's 20 years younger. Absolutely amazing difference around her neck, certainly around her eyes. Phenomenal difference. Needless to say, Rosie has stayed on the products, and this is her at age 87, feeling great, having more vitality, and doing excellent. You may have heard of thermal imaging, thermal photography, where you can actually see where the heat buildup or where the inflammation is. So, for example, this hand, you can clearly see where the inflammation is, the heat, and the challenge that's been brought up here. By simply applying this gel 3 times in 5 minutes, over a period of time, that inflammation goes away. You can see this in the lower back, where this one is a lumpectomy in the breast, lower back here, knee challenges. So it's kind of interesting. So not only for the skin, for example, for wrinkles, that sort of thing, the anti-aging effect, but anywhere where it hurts, you can apply this and let it get down in and work in depth, so you can use it topically for those kind of things too. It's quite amazing. I mentioned athletes. Athletes are absolutely doing phenomenal. They're just killing it with this. They're having a great results. So to give you an idea, Cody Miller here, he just won 2 medals at the last Olympics. He just won a gold medal and a bronze medal. Eddie Hall is UK's strongest man. Bria Larson is 2012. She won a gold medal. She's an ASEA athlete. And actually, we just right here locally in Australia, in Queensland, Australia, Hemi and Kina, husband and wife couple, they're in the Masters age in boxing, and both of them literally just won the world championship in their weight category. And they're ASEA advocates as well. They noticed more endurance, more mental stamina, quicker recovery. They went all 6 rounds and won all the rounds and had undisputed victories. And could have kept going where their opponents were pretty much gassed out. So obviously the athletes are using both of these products, and you can go to athletes.aseaglobal.com if you wanted to see more information. In fact, this is Hemi Niha and Kina right here, and let's see, Kina Hall. I couldn't quite remember her last name. I just looked a little bit closer. So yeah, pretty remarkable results with them. Amazing people, very excited. Here's them holding their belts. Actually, both of them hold 3 belts for 3 different weight categories, as well as the world titles, and pretty remarkable. This is my good friend Dan Doyle. I actually showed a photo at the very beginning with Dan and Mal Sword and myself at the ASEA corporate headquarters, but Going back a little bit, this is Dan Doyle when he was 24 years old. And Dan was obviously pretty healthy. He owned a gym. He was is quite entrepreneurial. He'd been involved with, built and sold 20 different businesses. This is Dan at 44 years old. He's still pretty fit. You can see he's got a six-pack going there. But he had a challenge that he didn't really realize that what was happening. He found a kind of a lump on his side. He went and had it checked out. Consequently, his second home was the hospital. He underwent a lot of treatments that he said he wouldn't wish on his worst enemy, obviously causing him to lose all of his hair. After doing 2.5 years of those treatments, and by the way, this fellow standing next to Dan was one of Australia's best rugby players. He was told he had the same challenge, in fact, one that wasn't nearly as serious as Dan's, but nevertheless, he didn't survive it. Danny's a fighter, but after 2.5 years, he was told to go home and get his affairs in order. Nothing more they could do for him. And I called Danny up from Salt Lake City when I had flown over. I said, Danny, I think I've found something that can help you. I encouraged him to come out and take a look, and needless to say, I'll show you the pictures. This is Danny when he flew to Salt Lake City. Took a before photo, and you can see the redness around his eyes, kind of the yellow of his skin. He doesn't look real healthy. And we got him on the ASEA. We were on the board table at the executive boardroom. I probably drank at least a half a bottle. The first day, his skin just started breaking out in these little pimples. Obviously, even though he'd been on an extremely clean diet and taken lots of healthy supplements and so forth, the toxins from the treatments were pouring out of his system. A couple days later, we went to an amusement park, and he said, I feel like Superman. He said he went running across the car park and probably ran 100 meters, came back and had a big smile on his face, wasn't really breathing very hard. And he was just astonished. He said, if I would have tried to do that 3 days ago, he said, I would have been on my hands and knees gasping for air. And so he had already started to notice a difference in his lungs' ability his ability to breathe. This is Danny a year later, shortly after getting a checkup and told that he was in good health. And this is Dan 3 years later. So you can see even the effects on the skin, just looking younger and healthier skin too. So we've talked about ASEA, we've talked about the problem. Let's take a look at, we've talked about the first solution, which is the cellular communication with ASEA, with Renew 28, with the serum and the skincare line. Let's take a quick look at the second problem, which is nutrition. So what happens is redox signaling molecules restore the integrity of the cell so vital nutrition can get back into the cell. And now keep in mind that ASEA is not a vitamin, it's not a mineral, it's not a supplement. It's like if you're going to build a house, you've got to have the right materials and you've got to have the right labor. This is the labor. This is the thing that's going to get the materials or the vitamins, this food that you eat, working and getting into the cell. So you need to have proper nutrition as well. And that's where these go hand in hand. Most people, take some form of nutritional supplements. Certainly we all try to eat right and make the best choices we can in the grocery store. So these are the three nutrition products that ASEA has. Absolutely stellar products. Now, a lot of nutrition products out there are, quite frankly, they're synthetic. Your body doesn't recognize the, synthetic nutritionals. These are all whole foods, like literally going to your grocery store, and they are absolutely packed with the highest and best quality sources on the market. And so this basically constitutes cellular health from the inside. This is cellular health from the outside. And the source is made up of 24 dense superfood ingredients. Now, a lot of people that sell supplements, they might put a lot of different things in them. In fact, the people that are in the know in the industry, they would call it dusting. In other words, putting enough of a vitamin or mineral or whatever it is into a product to say that it's in there, but it really would have no benefit. Every one of the ingredients that's in these products is of a level that you're going to get substantial benefit from. ASEA doesn't cut any corners. They provide the absolute best of the best. So Biome has got 16 strains of probiotic as well as prebiotic mushroom, marshmallow root to help the gut lining. And so incredible for the gut, Biome. And then LifeMax is 16 distinctive phytonutrients, including astragalus and gotukola, which really help with anti-aging effects. So again, these work very synergistically together. So this provides the nutrient blocks or the materials, as we talked about, supports cellular health, regulates cell division, helps cells eliminate vitamin and minerals from the diet, helps the cells assimilate, not eliminate, assimilate, I knew something was wrong with that, assimilate the vitamins and minerals from the diet, which is specifically the BioVia, which is the biome right here. So soothes the digestive system, aids in mental health and well-being. By the way, that would be the Life Max. This has remarkable benefits with mental health. Women that maybe have some challenges with their cycle and mood swings and different challenges have incredible results with helping them with that too. These products support the immune system, inflammatory response, the metabolism, promotes longevity, cardiovascular health, and helps maintain cognitive function. Again, the Life Max is very good for the cognitive function. The biome is also great in that regard. And then antioxidant activity, fighting the free radicals. That would be with all of these, but particularly the source as well. And also helps reduce the stress levels. So that would be the Life Max product. Actually, let me just go back here one. You can see asiavia.com. If you want to go to a website, you can actually learn more. We've just tried to condense the information here because there's so much great information about every one of these products that we could easily do a whole presentation on just them. This just shows what happens with the BioVia and the with this is the anti-aging effect with this 80-year-old lady after 4 weeks, and this is using the Life Max or the asiavia products. I was going to say Life Max, which is the ingredients, the gotu kola and astragalus root are in that one. So here's the deal: we like to help people set correct expectations. This isn't you can't expect a miracle overnight. And in fact, I think we're quite, as a society, we're programmed to pop a pill, quick fix, instant cure sort of mentality. Like maybe 10 or 15% of the people will notice significant results in their first week. Like Keena and Hemi, the boxers I showed you before, just even on the first day, she noticed a real big difference in her energy and recovery and so forth. But sometimes those effects can be kind of subtle. So we always like people to kind of benchmark where they're at so they can really remember how they used to feel. People are funny, they forget how they used to feel. But after 90 days, we're seeing 90% of the people will notice results. The thing I can tell you is that everybody, 100% of the people are getting results because of what this product is, regardless of whether they notice it or not. Sometimes our body is working on the inside, we may not notice. So look, let's just switch gears here for a second. Let's take a look at the little bit of a reality check, the financial situation here in Australia. This obviously doesn't apply to just Australia, this is global, but people are pretty stressed out. Can you relate with any of this? Does anybody on this call have any problems, any challenges? I think we all do. There's debt, work. I found that there's two kinds of pain. One's called physical pain. We know about that. There's another one called financial pain. Can you relate with that? Is it painful to have financial stress in your life? I will tell you, it is absolutely grueling pain. It's some of the worst. It causes, arguments, family arguments, divorce, the self-esteem issues, everything else that comes with that. So a lot of Australians are reporting high levels of stress. In fact, Australia is the third highest household debt in the world. Come from Australia, I'm sure we probably lead the world in the highest debt. 40% increase in antidepressant medication just in the last 4 years. So pretty big deal. So what's the solution? Well, part of it's changing your thinking. You can't solve the problem with the same thinking that created it. And so this is interesting. I love this slide because it really represents this treadmill of life that we're all on. Obviously, we all want to get out of this prison. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with having a job, but quite often our job just pays us just enough to keep us in there. It's nice when we can do what we love, but do it because we love it, not because we have to do it or we feel imprisoned by it. And a shocking number of people really don't like what they do, or if they had the choice of working with someone different than who they worked with, they probably would. And we're so busy right now. everybody is, I think. Time is a precious commodity, but we get this tunnel vision, and I can relate with this too. People just say, they look for excuses. Why not? What will it cost me? Well, I guess the question is, what will it cost you if you don't make a change? It might cost your health. It's going to cost, the lack of freedom or enjoyment from, if you're not totally happy with what you're currently doing. By the way, I'm not suggesting you have to turn around and quit your job. I'm just suggesting that this is a way of creating a freedom plan while you're working a job too. Let me think about it. Sometimes the time to think about it is when the choices are right in front of you. Or sometimes we say we're going to think about it and we never really do. Or we think about why we shouldn't, in fact, of all the benefits of why we should. And I'm so busy. The only way, if time is a challenge, and by the way, time was a big challenge for me when I got involved with this profession. I didn't have more time, but I realized the only way I was going to get more time was to learn how to leverage my time through the efforts of other people. So obviously, like this person at the top, we want to find someone that can show us how to escape the rat race and get out. And that's where ASEA comes into play. This has been an incredible gift, a blessing in not only my life, but mine and Melissa's life, but the lives of so many people that are friends of ours, that we care about, that we love. ASEA as a company has incredible integrity and stability. And that's one of the most important things. Before I could really put my heart and soul behind anything, before I could share this with my family or the people I care about, the people I love, I needed to know a few things. I needed to know that this company was based in integrity. If I don't feel good about the people I'm associating with, and look, I will tell you, you can have the best product in the world. Quite frankly, I believe we do. But if you don't have the right people behind it with the right values and principles, you have got nothing, absolutely nothing. I've seen there's a lot of good companies, good products that come and go, but Vertus and Tyler Norton are absolutely stellar in terms of their ethics, their vision, and their goal is to take this to the world. This is Vertus's legacy. He started this company when he was 69 years old. He just retired, but his goal was to get this out to the world. In fact, these gentlemen turned down a massive offer, or multiple times have turned down massive offers from big pharma, from pharmaceutical companies that would love to have their hands on this technology. But there was concerns that it would be shelved. And actually, they were told that if they wanted to, by one company, that if they would have to shut it down. In other words, the people who were having life-changing benefits, similar to my good friend Danny, that they'd have to take all those people off the product. Vertus said, "Well, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to make this available for humanity." And that's the reason we have the opportunity, that I have the opportunity to share this with you tonight. A couple other things to look at is the stability of the company. Now, this is important, not to just know that the company's got a lot of money in, that sort of thing, but to know that they're going to be here today, that they're going to be gone, that they're not going to be gone tomorrow, that this is something that you can share with people you care about. So many companies don't last particularly 5 years. If you look at the statistics, it's pretty shocking. But ASEA has been around since 2009, so 10 years now. Last year they did $125 million in revenue. They own their own manufacturing facility right down here. This is in Pleasant Grove, Utah. Their world headquarters here. The company is completely debt-free. I always like to say that these beautiful mountain ranges, Melissa, my wife, and I used to live on the other side of these mountains by Sundance, by Robert Redford's place, in a little place called Midway, Utah. It's beautiful over there. But sorry, I digress a little bit. ASEA has 18 global distribution centers. They're projected to do $1 billion in annual sales in the next 5 to 7 years. So really in an amazing place right now. Man, if you've ever wanted to be at the right time, at the right place, we're in such a great place to take this technology to the world. This manufacturing facility has the capability of producing $1 billion worth of products, so that you can see they can do almost 10 times the production from that one facility that they're currently doing. In terms of the business model, you can ask anybody that's been in business. I love business owners, people who are willing to step out and take some little bit of risk and some responsibility for their lives. But there's so many challenges they deal with. And even if we look at advertising and all the costs associated with advertising, radio, television, newspaper, and so on and so forth, every one of these business owners will tell you the best form of advertisement is word of mouth in almost every business model. So that's actually the business model that we take advantage of, is word of mouth advertising. The fact is that every single one of us are involved with network marketing, word of mouth sales. Whether you just the simple fact is a lot of people don't get paid for it. So if you go to a good movie, a good restaurant, we naturally tell other people about it, and ASEA simply pays us to do what we naturally do anyway, but creates a great opportunity for people. So currently, I need to update this slide. We're in 33 countries now. We support 16 different languages, and just a fraction of a percentage of the people in these countries have even heard about redox signaling molecules. No one has a clue. It's so brand new. It's our job, it's our mission, it's our goal to get this out to the world. We're also excited about the Asian countries that just opened up. So incredible growth here. It's pretty simple. So ASEA, instead of paying millions of dollars in advertisement, they simply compensate us. So just like I picked up the phone and I called my friend Dan, and Dan knew Mal Sword, who had some challenges that he wanted to address. And Melissa picked up the phone and called some additional friends, and I talked with some more people, and everybody knows more people. And you know what? Every single person you know that you care about, that you love, needs to know about this technology, regardless of whether you decide to do this as a business or whether they decide to join you in the business side of things. This is, think of it as a mission, a quest to really get this out to the world. You can create global distribution centers just simply by sharing this with other people. The good news is that ASEA takes care of everything that certainly I don't want to take care of. The manufacturing of product, the shipping of product, the regulatory issues. We get to do the thing that's really enjoyable, which is to talk with people and share the vision. It's pretty simple. When we look at this, you might think, well, who do I talk to? Well, what we want to talk to are what we call red apples, people who have influence, people who are switched on. It's kind of people that if you were going to go out to have a cup of coffee or go out to dinner, go out to a movie, who would you pick up the phone and who would you want to invite along? These are the kind of people that are fun to hang out with. They're open to new ideas and new opportunities and experiences. You've got your green apples. They're the kind of people who have lots and lots of questions. Sometimes they can even have the paralysis of analysis. Let me just tell you, ASEA is not on trial. This technology is time-honored, it's proven. There's literally hundreds of thousands of people that swear by the technology, and there's plenty of science behind it too. But if you have questions, we can get your questions answered, not a problem. And then there's the rotten apples. It doesn't mean they're rotten people, it just means that might call them party poopers, but you know what? It just might be a matter of timing. It might not be the right timing for them. As a matter of fact, I was a rotten apple for a while because I had mentioned that several people had called and talked to me about having a look at this, and I just didn't get it. It wasn't the right timing for a number of reasons. But so people can come along a little bit later. What we find though is that red apples tend to find more red apples, and so you want to focus about 95% of your time here instead of trying to convince the rotten apples to become red apples, because they often won't. So it's just a matter of focusing your time and attention where it needs to go. So, what next? Well, I guess, first of all, it's just I just want to share with you the timing, where we're actually positioned. This is at a momentum phase in our business. This is tracking the statistics of the global sales since 2011. Quite remarkable. We are really on this kind of accelerated growth curve right now. And we have no competition whatsoever. We've got a patent monopoly on these products. So in terms of what to do now, number one is to be your own best customer. Get on the product, use it, experience it. You can start off with, if you wanted to, with what we call a personal pack, which would be a case of ASEA, a couple tubes of Renew 28. A better choice might be, you might see yourself as a builder or a sharer, maybe trying to generate a part-time income, or maybe bring a spouse home, or if you're working 2 jobs, you want to get rid of those. This is a chance to really create some long-term stability and freedom for you and your business. So you might start off with a little bit more product if you wanted to go that way, perhaps. Just depending on what your situation, or you might look at yourself as an entrepreneur lifestyle income that you want to create, and really build this big. Decide to have a lot of fun instead of a little bit of fun. Do you want to change a few lives, or do you want to change a lot of lives? Because we can absolutely do that. And I tell you, I would encourage you to play big and have some fun. This is the area that my wife and I really saw as the possibility, was literally a chance of a lifetime. As a matter of fact, quoting Mel Sword, he said, "You will not have an opportunity like this come again in your lifetime. This is big, and I want you to recognize and appreciate that." So, if we certainly invite you to come in and jump in and join us. But it really is your choice, wherever you see yourself. If it's just being a customer, that's cool. Some people come along later. There's different packs or options that you can start off with. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Get with the person who introduced you to the call and ask some questions. But just to summarize this is what we call a business pack. It basically gives you a nice supply of product to use for your first month. A couple cases of ASEA, a couple cases, 8 tubes of Renew 28. There's some sample tubes of the Renew 28. So you're also saving about $166. You're starting off at 10% loyalty benefit, and it's just a great way to get started. There's also an entrepreneur pack where by doing more, you save more. This is the equivalent of where Melissa and I came in, because we wanted to have some product not only for me and for her to use, but we wanted to have some for demonstration, a little bit to sell as well. And for us to start it off and look at it from a business investment, it really wasn't much. It was a lot of money at the time because we didn't have extra money, but from a business standpoint, when we looked at it that way, it's a very small amount to start a very good business, and also to start off more loyalty benefits. So, what's your story? This is a chance to rewrite your script. And really, whatever your dreams, whatever your goals, aspirations are, quite often, so many of us have been, we've gone through our own challenges, our own struggles. Sometimes we've been, kicked in the gut so many times that we're afraid to dream. We're afraid to think outside the box, and we just kind of get stuck into a bit of a rut. And I'm here to tell you that ASEA is a vehicle that you can believe in. This is a chance to really live your dreams, if that's your goal, to help a lot of people or help a few people. But I would encourage you to live big and dream big and decide to help a lot of people. It's a great group of people we're associated with. We're also associated with the ASEA Life Foundation, or Advancing Life Foundation. This is helping people, Operation Underground Railroad, saving people literally from sex slavery and rescuing kids, and also helping in Ecuador with a village there, doing some really remarkable things. You can learn more about that. My wife Melissa and I are incredibly grateful to be associated. We're certainly grateful for this gentleman here, Vertus Norton. He's certainly one of my heroes. We're so blessed to be associated with so many remarkable people that have jumped on or sharing this vision and this mission with us. And just to wrap up, Vertus says, we're at the start of something big with great purpose, and right now is the moment we begin influencing the future. We can change the world. I want to thank you for taking your valuable time to join us tonight. Apologize, it was not Nicole Dennis. I'm glad I had the opportunity to, on short notice, fill in for her. But thank you again, and wishing you all the very best. Thank you.